Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your board. P-Funk, thinking right out here in the lab. What do I do for you? Oh, I've been in the book all day. I got a nice lesson for you set up nice and neat. I'm all prepared. Let's go. Writism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. Message is story for life. I give life lessons. You tune into receiving. The numbers are looking good. I appreciate you. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking is way of life, and it is a way of life through what mental and spiritual discipline employed daily will help and guide you to attain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. That's my mission. The part to get you to know thyself, I'm on a mission to give you all the information to make that possible. All you gotta do is tune in. I see you doing that. Put the lessons to use, and you'll know thyself too. Let's go. The question: do you know you? Let's be talking. You should have an answer. If not, stick with me. I can help you out with that. That's what I do for you. Help you. A person who knows not and, and knows that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. Don't be them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You teach them. Yeah, that's what I do and I do for you. I appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got you. A person who knows not and believes and think that they know dangers. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows, but knows not that they know. So they're asleep spiritually. I'm a spiritual alarm clock. I'm here to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you, right? Think to know thyself. And to Maya, be true. Excuse me. I went back and picked up something from my girl, Maya. I'm going to break down for you the mystical implications of the Saurian myth for the study of Maya. That's what the philosophy of Maya practiced by the Saurian myth, Allah, Asar, Aset, and Heru, the original Trinity. But then I'm going to take you to what is the Pert and Heru. This is equivalent to our Bible, Christians. We had a book, we had scripture, but it was more so like a will, because everybody's was different to certain degrees. Why? Because they was written for each individual. That's why. So they call it the Book of the Dead. Why? Because they got them out of dead man's casket. Moving on, this little tidbit there. Again, I like to give you information. Whether you believe it or not, don't make a difference. It's just information. So let's start out with the mystical implications of the Saurian myth for the study of Maya, which is Principles 42 Confessions. That if you hold yourself, if you hold yourself accountable to live according to those 42 confessions, your life will change. I'm living proof. Let's go. The creation itself, watch this, is based on what? Maya, or what they call cosmic order. Cosmic order is the first requirement necessary in order for human existence to be possible. And without human existence, the spirit cannot incarnate where? Into humans from it's a human form in order to experience what? The physical reality. I tell you, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. The human part is the physical body here in the physical realm of the tie, which is the physical realm, the lowest, aka hell. Okay? You want to rise. You can't go no further out. You need to rise. That's why the spirit is recognized by the falcon. Why? It have wings. All your angels have wings. Maya Aset all have wings. Why? Everything's elevated. You could a Red Bull, it got wings. A bull with wings. Ain't think about that. Let's go. But now, secondly, watch this. The story shows how Maya leads to what? Peace and order in what? Society. It doesn't say the individual. It's a society. It's a societal line, a lesson that you can live by across the board. Watch this. Let me give you proof. This was invented by what? idyllic life of who? Asar, who brought order, education, and peace to the world. The story also shows how, here we go, egoism steps in and the Satanian qualities, which are anger, hatred, greed, lust, pride, vanity, etc. All those things that's egoistic, that's the sign of Set. And they give you all the qualities. If you have these qualities, you're a Satanian individual. You need to work on eradicating them. Watch this. Let and all these things do what? Lead to death and destruction. I tell you the sign for the hieroglyphic sign for Set is the guy with a hatchet in his head. Not good. Okay. Self-destruction. Okay. That's the concept. That's the idea. Where we at? Okay. Watch this. Now, thus, if you live, well, here's the difference. If you live Mayat, you're living virtuous, you're living according to the principles of Mayat 42 Confessions that engenders, watch this, life and prosperity when, while Satanian living leads to sorrow and death. If you follow your ego, death. You live Mayat, afterlife, eternity. Simple. It ain't a whole bunch of, nope, just that simple. You don't need a whole bunch of choices, this or that, in the discussion. Let's go. Now, the ancient Egyptians, Book of the Dead, excuse me, the Book of Coming Forth by Day, is a ritualization of what? The Assyrian myth. It takes you through his story, and in the story, there's lessons to be learned. Subliminal messages, hidden messages, coded messages that if you learn the story, understand it, you will get the message. And the spiritual aspirant, right thinkers, is asked if he or she, how did they live? According to what? The principle of truth and justice while they were alive. If you didn't live Maya, your heart would be heavy with hatred, greed, jealousy, all those bad qualities that you probably don't pay attention to, but the heart do. It weighs heavy on the heart. Sound familiar? Anything that's bad, we tend to think, oh, it hurts my heart. Yeah. Anything that you're storing that's negative and bad, it weighs on your heart because that's where it's going to be stored for the day, judgment day. That's where they're going to check the heart. Moving on. Now, if you live Maya, they will be what? Worthy of discovering the heights of what? Spiritual evolution, aka spiritual enlightenment. If not, they will experience, here you go, suffering in the what? Astral plane. Meaning when the physical body dies, before the spirit gets dealt with, it's in sort of about limbo. That's the astral plane. And depending how you lived here, will depend how your weight is. Either it's hellish or it's heavenly. Conception. Watch this. So the astral plane of existence, and then what? They will once again experience what they call reincarnation. Spirit got to go find another body and what? Into a human form. Again, hence reincarnation. You don't reincarnate. The spirit reincarnates. Your conscious, your heart gets eaten by a man at the judgment day. So it don't live on. That's it. If the conscious don't make it to the bar, your head in on the spirit when it leaves, that means you ain't going. Moving on, and wrap this up. So watch this. Listen, every human being experiences what? A judgment of their character. What does that mean? Excuse me. We know judgment day, or we go before God and we plead our case and tell him we believed in Jesus and all that. Not, no, no. The original concept would come out of the Egyptian mystery system. Your heart would be judged because the contents of your character is kept in the heart. They call it a vase, the ab. It's a little ab. Everything is stored in there. So what you do up here while you're living, that's cool. But it don't mean nothing. It's stored here. Because when this is over, they don't even keep the brain. The brain, the conscious, the head brain means nothing. They knew there's a brain in the heart. We just found it out. We just figured out, oh, we discovered, wait a minute, Like Christopher Columbus, we discovered the heart has a brain, the heart has its own mind. You think? When you've been telling that for 10,000 years, let me finish that up, but just the concept. I haven't learned nothing new from all this new that I haven't learned when I was studying for 30 years the Egyptian mystery system. They had all this stuff figured out. Psychological concepts way ahead of y'all. Light years. Watch this. Now, everybody has experience and judgment of their what character. So that means how you live. As to whether or not it is in line with what? Maya, which will imply growth in spirituality. If you study, if you implemented what you learned, you became a better you. Know yourself, raise your conscious level, reach the knee highs, became anointed, became one with God. Watch this. Or with the forces of darkness, if you choose, like Darth Vader, dark side, watch this. Ignorance and evil, which implies what? Sin and causes pain to the self and others. Again, the hatchet to the head and your dangers, because those who follow, believe in your concepts will follow you and they're going to suffer the same fate, self-destruction. This judgment is what? The subject of the ancient Egyptians, Book of the Dead, aka coming forth by day. That book they're talking about is what we headed to, and what we're going to talk about is what is that book? It's called the Pert and Heru. Glad you asked. Now we're going to talk about that. I like that segue. You like the move? Smooth. Let's go. I got a page and a half to read, so it won't be that long, but good information again. Remember the resurrection of Asar and his reincarnation in the form of who? Heru, his son. Sound familiar? But they tell you God sent his only begotten son. Here, the son resurrected and going to avenge his father's killer, which is the ego inside you. Heru wants to conquer the ego. Why? Because that's what killed his dad. Dark side. Okay? And George Lucas is getting rich off of that. And he got a cult following. The only religion. They can use the force and they'll be just fine. The Jews know about the force. Let me say, watch this. Now, when he reincarnated in the form of Heru, is what? A symbol and symbolic concept for what? The resurrection, which what? Must occur in the life of who? Every human being. Not some, not a few, not his chosen one. Every human being has the opportunity to do just that. And watch this. In this manner, the story of the Saurian Trinity, which Asar, Aset, and Haru, holds hidden teaching. I told you, once you learn and understand, there's some hidden teachings which, when, watch this, understood and properly practiced. Again, that word, properly, correct. The biblical lessons a lot of misunderstanding, misinterpretation, and is not properly taught. So it can't be properly practiced. So when the book we teach it from Right Thinking Philosophy, when it's understood and properly practiced daily, what's going to happen? It will lead you to what? Spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. That's the goal that I'm trying to get you. So everything I do is pretty much give you things you need to help you get to that point where you can know yourself with knowledge and understanding from the teachings that I'm giving to you. It ain't that hard. If you know yourself, give yourself an A. If you confused and can't figure out, you fail. And get a tutor, get some help. But it ain't that hard. Ask me. I'll break it down simpler. If it ain't fine enough for you, I got some more. I can grind a little more. I can take it down to the elementary level. I got kiddie books here too. See, I'm ready for y'all too. This is the kids' version of the same thing I'm teaching you quickly. Not to rag on my students. When I was teaching my right thinking philosophy to them, I couldn't figure out from week to week, beat myself up all week trying to find a common denominator so they can get the lesson where it can suit and they can use it. So I was struggling. This is a fourth grade level book. I bought that book in. I would bring at least maybe 3 to 4 pages of information. Like I said, I read information, got a nice little setup. So I would take it, photocopy the pages, put them together, copy them for them, lay them out for everybody, give it already. All you gotta do is come and sit down and read. We wouldn't get past the first page in an hour-long session, so it was rough. I bought this book in. We went through 10 pages, but the letters is big and it's real simple. But it just showed me, okay, I needed to lower my level of teaching where so that they can understand it. So I said, if it needs to be cut some more, I'll make it cut some more. I'll cut it down for you. So I control that. But long story short is I teach here on a college level. I didn't think about that. So when I was in class, I had to teach on the elementary grade level. But to their credit, they loved it at that level, and I ain't mad at them. I figured it out. So trust me, if you're a grammar school teacher, you can't go to grammar school teaching high school level knowledge. Why? You got to teach on a level. I learned that too. See, even masters, so-called, can still learn. So I don't know everything. Trust me. So I'm still learning also. Let's get back to this lesson. So, right thing philosophy goal is to get you to reach spiritual enlightenment. The teachings of the mystical spirituality are what contained in the most ancient writings of Egypt, even those preceding the dynastic or the pharaonic period, time 5500 BCE to 300 BCE. Now, all of them all of them contain some portion of the Assyrian myth. It became the most popular concept across Egypt and referred to what? The religious practitioners by the male or female, be they male or female, as what? Asar. When you cross over to the next level, you become Asar. Everybody in the afterlife, first name is Asar. I would be Asar Mark or Asar P. Choose that. But the first name, the title would be Asar. That means you passed over. You became one with what? Asar, the higher self, God. Now, the most extensive expositions of what the philosophy may be found where? In the writings which have in modern times been referred to as the Egyptian Book of the Dead, but we already know it's the Pert Heru, the Book of the Dead, yeah. But originally known as the, again, Ru Per M Heru, is spelled RWPRTMHRW. No vowels. When you put the vowels in, you got RUPERTEM Heru. Okay? A lot of times the Egyptians, they can read their writings without the vowels. We look at three consonants in a row, we freak out because we're not used to it. We're used to putting them vowels in. Lesson for that too. I can remember that too. I can put that on my things to do. Nice lesson for when they don't use the vowels. All right, but it comes out to Pert M Heru by the ancient Egyptians, which is translated as the utterance for going forth into the light. Sound like that? No, it's like somebody going somewhere else. They knew that. Hence, afterlife. They knew there was life here, but they knew that when this was over, there's an afterlife, and all of them wanted to get to it. We just hope we make it. We hope that some. No, if you don't put the work in, if you don't acquire and do the things that you need to, it ain't gonna happen. Understand that. Now, in Egyptian mythology, Heru not only means light, but also day. See, some of the words have a nice play. We call them play on words, synonym, anonym. Words say one thing means something else. But watch this. Now, day implies what? The light of knowledge. Again. And spiritual enlightenment as opposed to what? The darkness or what? Ignorance and human degradation. Your ego is the four-legged animal representing its earth bound. It can't ascend. It can't level up. So if you're egotistical, you have went as far as you're gonna go with the ego. It's not gonna get you to the next level. Just saying. In fact, watch this. Day and light are two of the most important attributes of the gods Heru and Ra. Remember, Ra, the sun, Heru, the spirit. You need both of them. Okay? Watch this, who represent the highest potential of every human being. To reach Heru, that's the highest you can go. Okay? Heru means you conquered yourself. You conquered Earth. You mastered yourself where in time and space before you died. This symbolism, watch this, is reinforced how? By the fact that both, watch this, Heru and Ra utilize the symbol of what? The hawk. They both got the hawk head. Ra got the hawk with the sun disk with the Uranus around it. When you see Heru, he got the crown of Upper and Lower Egypt. See? So they signify and they can identify each other by what? The headdress. You see Rob, you see that funny looking guy over there? That's Set. He's the weirdest, one of a kind animal, and he's unique. He don't regenerate. He have no kids. He make no offspring. Why? He don't need to be no more but one of them. Okay, that's the concept for them. Now where we at? In the hawk symbol, an animal. Watch this. Why the hawk? When we use zoomorphic and anthropomorphic concepts, this is the reason why. They showing you with the hawk here the qualities that he has. Haru. Watch this. An animal which is what? Swift and possesses sharpness and clarity of vision. If it's in the air, 2 miles in the air, it's see a field mice. That field mice don't have a clue. His life is over. Just as soon as my man start the bomb, dive bomb, it's a wrap. His kill rate is 100%. He don't miss. So if he got a bead on you, it's a wrap. It's like a guided missile. That's where the concept comes from. Dive bombers. They use the Falcon's concept. Why? Because he's the best at it. He can hit the water. Wham! Go in there, pick up the fish, and come out and be dry. When he close up his wing, he's sealed up tight, and he come up out of there, he ain't even wet. That's a hell of a thing. So yeah, that's why they use him to show your spirit. That's your spirit. It's the fastest thing in the air. It can fly higher than anything in the air, and it can get you on the land because it sees better than anything else, and it sees you, you're done. If you're in the water, you think you're safe. Nope, he can get you there too. So he's really the baddest thing on the planet. And to be considered the hawk, watch this, an animal which is swift, possesses sharpness and clarity of vision. And watch this, the same symbol of the hawk is used to what? Refer to the human soul. Boy, I like this. Oh, this is my stuff here. Thus, watch this. The text is directed toward what? Enlightening the human soul as to its true nature, aka know itself, know thyself. Allowing one to what? Become aware of who? Him or her deeper divine essence, which is God. That's what I'm trying to do for you. That's why I do what I do. It's for you. When you get this and start using it, you'll know it too. Watch this. So therefore, the title may also read more accurately as what? The book of coming forth by day or the guide for becoming Haru. That's my whole goal is to get you to become who? Haru. I love it. Moving on. Now, the writings were named the Egyptian Book of Dead by who? The modern Egyptologists. Remember, we call things what we think it is, what we call it. That ain't what they called it. Please understand that. So there's a little sometimes things get lost in translation. So with these Egyptologists, they had obtained them from what? Modern day dwellers of the area of Northeast Africa who had found them buried with the remains of what? The ancient Egyptian dead. Again, hence Book of the Dead. It's like your will testament. You writing it out and you leaving it. They didn't expect people to come digging them up and reading it. See, some stuff wasn't for prying eyes. How many of us want our loved one to be dug up and this person's stuff thrown around? You go dig up one of the white people. See what happened. They ain't happening. But they digging up mummies all over the place in Africa. They just killing us and getting rich in the process. That's another thing. They make a lot of money with just what? Gathering information. That's what they do. Old information. You can get rich off of rocks from Egypt. They gotta do with this was so and so. Yeah, oh yeah, I'm bidding on how much? Well, yeah. And all of a sudden, everybody want it. Okay, ego. Wanting something because it's unique, right? That's all ego. Okay, we in a competition. I gotta have the most. I gotta have my God the most high. The rat race, and I don't run the rat race. I'm out of that nonsense. Okay, watch this. Now, in the interest of simplicity and common sense, consistency and accuracy. Watch this. The name Egyptian Book of Coming Forth by Day will be used throughout this text. From now on, that's what we'll call it. Okay, so keep going back. But more importantly, with the respect to the goal of what? Obtaining spiritual enlightenment. As the right thinker, Master, my only goal is to get you to achieve that for yourself. That's knowing God. So that's my goal, to get you to do that. Be a spiritual enlightenment, knowing God, reborn, becoming anointed, whatever you want to call it. I'm trying to get you there. Okay. And guess what? I can, because I know the way. Now, the use of what title, Egyptian Book of Coming Forth by Dead. The Egyptian Book of the Dead has far-reaching psycho, mythological, and hence psycho-spiritual implications. Dead is a little morbid. I get it. The word day represents light, knowledge, and what? Rebirth, resurrection, while the word dead brings what? Images of decay, destruction, remember, attach it to the head, and finality. If you're not spiritually enlightened, you don't know there's something else. Why? You didn't think about that. You was living for now. When it comes time to pay up, you ain't got nothing. You ain't saved up nothing. You didn't put nothing in the bank. You got no kid coming spiritually. And all you people who don't believe in God, that's fine. But when it's time, you're gonna wish you had it, and that's when it's too late. I know that too. I've seen that. In addition, watch this. In the ancient Egyptian system, of yoga, which what I practice, they call it religion. There is what? No death. How could you live in a world without death? But we seem to think they was obsessed with death. No, they knew death for the next phase to the afterlife. So why fear something? If you want to go to heaven, you got to die. So if you do the things to get you into heaven, you ain't gonna mind dying. Why? Because you done put yourself in a situation where you know where you're going. If you're scared to die, that means your house ain't in order. I gave that lesson already, but that's the whole concept. If you ain't living right, you ain't ready to die. Why? I need more time. Like Mama said, Denzel said, I wish we had more time. Sometimes time run out. We all gonna have that time. And that's when judgment begins. So understand that it's life. And only, watch this, only a transformation based on what? One's actions and deeds, thoughts, and innermost consciousness while living in what? The physical world. That means here and now. I had an idea, where was I? Oh, transformation, the caterpillar concept. All caterpillars are meant to become butterflies. All caterpillars don't become butterflies. All spiritual beings are meant to become what? Enlightened beings, so they can go home. All spiritual beings don't get enlightened. All of them don't get to go home. That's why you got to reincarnate it, because the energy don't die. It just transfer. And what's in you is of God, is energy, pure energy that can't do nothing but be rearranged or go back to his maker. And it falls right in. See, remember, God duplicated himself billions of millions of times and haven't lost nothing. And whoever make it back home, he don't gain nothing. When the rain fall in the ocean, it don't overflood the ocean. The ocean don't miss it. If it don't rain, the ocean don't miss it. That's the concept. Let me wrap this up. I'm enjoying this, Jack. Wrapping it up. The pyramid text and the book of coming forth by day are what? Similar in scripture and purpose. Yeah, see, Christians is about our Bible. In fact, the origins of the latest versions of what? The book are coming forth by day, which were composed toward the end of ancient Egyptian civilization, can be traced to what? Its earliest versions. The pyramid texts are hieroglyphic writings contained in the pyramid tombs of the kings of what? Early dynastic period, 5000 BCE. So this information is over 5,000 years old. With the 2000, that's over 7,000 years. Okay? So that's how long it's been around. And watch this. The pyramid, excuse me, no, the pyramid text and the books of coming forth by day are what? Collections, here it is, of what? Utterances and rituals originally recorded in the hieroglyphic scripture and later on the hieratic Demotic and Coptic scripture, meaning it started changing to become writing. Started out, it was hieroglyphs, then he took it to Heretic, then he took it to Demotic, and then it ended up Coptic. Now, they were designed to what? Lead who? The initiate right thinkers to what? Transform, like a caterpillar to a butterfly. His or her what? Consciousness, thinking, gotta be a right thinker. From human, which is matter, the yin and yang, the matter to spiritual, which is divine, by what? Purifying the mind. How? With wisdom about who? Panetta, aka God, or they call him the transcendental supreme being. And the netters, which are what? Divine forces in the universe, cosmic forces. Luke, use the force. Right thinkers, use the force. I love that. Now, each of these constitute what? Major treatises of ancient Egyptian mystical philosophy, which holds the seekers to higher education, higher learning, and together what constitutes an advanced, listen, holistic, meaning you can heal yourself too, holistic system of what? Spiritual development, comparable to what? The yoga of Vedanta philosophy of India. hmm They took it to the next level, but we originators of it. Again, we got raided, took advantage of. They took everything we had and made it their own. No problem. But watch this. Now, all of these having their main purpose, what? To affect the union of the unconscious of the individual human being with what? The transcendental self, the higher conscious, aka Heru, or the supreme being, the spirit that's in you. Still got a little bit to go. And I'm not watching the clock, so let's go. I'm almost home. Stay with me. Over the long period of time, over 5,000 years, 7,000 now, of what? The ancient Egyptian dynastic civilization, which lasted over 5,000 years, the teachings presented in the Book of Coming Forth by Day evolved from simple principles to a collection of utterances, often referred to as chapters or spells, due to what? Here we go. Invasions, political conflicts, and more important, corruption in the late history of ancient Egypt. That's the fall of Egypt. The dynasty had fallen. The inmates is running insane asylum, so to speak. The original teachers, watch this, became corrupted as they was edited, rewritten, and added to by who? Priests and priestesses who were not aware of the original teachings of certain symbols and mystical teachings. Current Egyptological scholarship reckons what? The total number of chapters or utterances which are to be found where in all the surviving books of Coming Forth by Day to be 192, I guess, chapters. However, different papyri contains different amounts of what? Chapters, and some contain newly composed chapters. For example, the Turin Papyrus contains 165 chapters out of a possible 162. Few was missing, like the Bible. Some they put in, some they take out. Depending on when you get it, you might have that information. Next person get it, don't have that information. So there is no one late version of the Book of Coming Forth by Day, which contains what? The entire collection of utterances, or which presents them in a completely correct manner as to order or content through it, though it is possible what? To trace the teachings given the earliest times to the utterance presented in the later texts. Some of these later texts, especially those containing the chapters from 1 to 17, 23, 30, 64, 82, 83, 125, 137, 8, 174, 175, 177, and 178, along with their what? Vinaigrettes, serve as what? Exegesis, or what we call clarification or elucidation, I guess, proof for the earlier text. The earlier texts, specifically those relating to the founding myths of Asar, Aset, and Heru, and the pyramid text, which what constitutes the earliest known versions of the rituals of what? coming forth by day are the most important sources for what? Deriving the true essence and practice of Shita Asar Aset Hadu, aka right thinking philosophy. That's what I do for you. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. I did.